Should mesothelioma patients be drinking more green tea if they want to fight their cancer? That is what we're going to explore today. Hey, I'm Deborah from survivingmesothelioma.com, and for almost 20 years now, we have been helping mesothelioma patients with the latest in mesothelioma treatment information. In today's video, we're going to explore 3 exciting ways in which a compound found in green tea may potentially improve the lives of mesothelioma patients. But first things first. What is this compound and how can it help people with mesothelioma? The compound that we're talking about is called EGCG, which stands for epigallocatechin 3 gallate. It's a natural substance found in green tea. And after carefully analyzing 2 studies from respected scientific journals, it looks like EGCG could potentially slow down mesothelioma cell growth and even trigger cancer cell death. But clinical trials need to be done to see if this will help patients outside of the lab setting. I'll leave a link to all of the studies in the description for you. But how exactly can EGCG help mesothelioma patients? Let's take a closer look at the 3 ways that this green tea compound may help. Number 1, triggering cancer cell death. A 2013 study published in Cancer Cell International looked at how mesothelioma cells reacted to EGCG in test tubes. What they discovered is that EGCG can trigger a process called apoptosis in mesothelioma cells. This basically means it can cause cancer cells to self-destruct. Imagine if we could get mesothelioma cells to hit their own self-destruct button. That is what EGCG might be able to do. Here's how it works. EGCG increases the production of something called reactive oxygen species, ROS, in cancer cells. Think of ROS as little troublemakers inside the cell. When there are too many of them, they start damaging important parts of the cell. And this damage triggers the cell's built-in safety mechanism, apoptosis. It's like the cell realizes it's too damaged to function properly, so it decides to shut itself down for good. Number 2, disrupting cancer cell energy production. Next, a study published in Biochimica et Biophysica Acta, also in 2013, showed how EGCG affects mesothelioma cells' energy production. They found that EGCG can interfere with how cancer cells make energy. Think of it like cutting off the power supply to a factory. Without energy, cancer cells can't grow or spread. Could green tea's EGCG be like kryptonite for mesothelioma cells? You see, every cell in our body, including cancer cells, has tiny structures called mitochondria. These are like little power plants that produce energy for the cell. The study found that if you use EGCG, it messes with the energy production in the cancer cells. It specifically targets something called oxidative phosphorylation, which is a fancy term for how cells make energy. By disrupting this process, EGCG essentially starves the cancer cell of the energy that they need to survive and multiply. Number 3, selective targeting of cancer cells. What's really interesting is that those 2013 study found that EGCG seems to target cancer cells more than normal cells. And this means it might be able to attack the mesothelioma without causing as much harm to healthy cells. Imagine having a treatment that is like a sniper rather than a bomb, targeting just the bad cells and leaving the good ones alone. This selectivity is crucial because it could mean fewer side effects. Many current cancer treatments like chemotherapy can harm both cancer and healthy cells, leading to unpleasant side effects. But EGCG appears to be more discerning. The study suggests that it's particularly effective against cells that are dividing rapidly, which is a hallmark of cancer cells. Normal cells, generally divide more slowly, seem to be less affected. It's as if ECGC can tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys in your body, and primarily goes after the bad ones. What I found truly amazing was that a natural compound found in something as common as green tea could have such powerful effects on mesothelioma cells. It's like finding out that your morning cup of tea could potentially be a cancer-fighting superhero. Pretty incredible, right? But what about the side effects and the risks of ECGC? The studies that we looked at didn't find significant negative outcomes in the lab setting, but one thing to note is that these studies were done in vitro, which means in test tubes or petri dishes. In vitro studies are a crucial first step, but they don't always translate directly to what happens in the human body. So more research, especially clinical trials with actual mesothelioma patients, would be needed to fully understand EGCG and how it might work as a treatment. Another thing that you should take note of is that these studies were looking at EGCG in very controlled laboratory conditions. And that doesn't mean the information is invaluable. It just means that we can't jump to conclusions about how drinking green tea might affect mesothelioma in real life. There can be a big difference between how something works in a petri dish and how it works in the complex environment of the human body. So, to recap, here's what we know. The EGCG help trigger cancer cell death, disrupt cancer cell energy production, and potentially target cancer cells versus healthy cells. But will it work in mesothelioma patients? Unfortunately, we don't know for sure yet. So, what does that mean for you if you have mesothelioma? Well, if I were in your shoes, I would definitely be curious about incorporating green tea into my diet. Maybe EGCG could be used as a complementary approach alongside conventional treatments. Maybe it could help boost the effectiveness of other therapies. Who knows? But surely it's worth speaking to your doctor about. In my opinion, the research on EGCG for mesothelioma is promising enough that it is worth discussing with your licensed healthcare provider to see if adding green tea to your routine might be beneficial. And if you're looking for more mesothelioma information, please visit survivingmesothelioma.com to see how Paul became the longest living mesothelioma survivor in the world. That's all I've got for you today. Please like this video if it was helpful. And remember, while green tea and EGCG show promise, always consult with your medical team before making any changes to your treatment plan. See you next time.